A dismal day in the jungle for Jake Browning and the Bengals. Mike Petraglia inside Paycor Stadium. Here Sunday afternoon, it was drizzly, dank, damp, cold, and that kind of day for the Bengals, especially their offense, in a 16-10 loss to their nemesis over the years, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bengals lose their third straight game. They fall back under 500 at 5-6, and they are firmly entrenched in last place in the AFC North. The Steelers improved to 7-4. Had the Bengals won this game, they would be 6-5. They would have leapfrogged the Pittsburgh Steelers for the time being in the division and had some momentum, even though Joe Burrow, of course, is out for the season with a wrist injury. He'll have surgery on that torn wrist tendon ligament situation in his wrist on Monday. Head coach Zach Taylor acknowledging that and confirming that after the game. But what about the game here on Sunday afternoon? The Bengals led 7-3 on an 11-yard touchdown pass from Jake Browning to Drew Sample. Of course, they were teammates at the University of Washington. They had a great day on Saturday as Washington won the Apple Cup and stayed alive in national title hopes. But those two players played together on the University of Washington team back in the late 2010s. There's some chemistry there, and the Bengals had a 7-3 lead on that play, by the way. It was Sample bowling over his tight end teammate Mitchell Wilcox to get into the end zone, and everything seemed to be trending in the right direction in this game. The Bengals were not allowing the Pittsburgh Steelers to get into the red zone often, and when they did, they forced a fumble, as Zach Carter forced a fumble in this game on Jalen Warren, and recovering it was DJ Turner, and that was a bit of good news. Bengals actually were driving at the start of the second half. They had won the coin toss, deferred, and took the opening drive of the second half, marched down the field, a nice 31-yard pass from Browning down to Jamar Chase, and then disaster struck. A couple of plays later, it was Trenton Thompson filling in for the injured Minkah Fitzpatrick, stepping in front of Jamar Chase's route and picking off the pass, and that set up the go-ahead drive for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 14 plays and 75 yards, taking up nearly 9 minutes of the third quarter clock. It was an absolute momentum killer in this game and really turned the game on its head right there. After the game, Jake Browning said he just didn't play up to his standards, even though he finished 19 of 26, 227 yards and a touchdown. It was that interception that stuck out in his mind because he said he read too much pre-snap, predetermined in his mind where the ball was going to go, and he should have let the play develop a little bit longer. Perhaps that'll come with getting more starts in the NFL. Of course, here on Sunday afternoon, it was his first NFL start, taking the place of Joe Burrow, who was, of course, injured on November 16th. Again, Joe Burrow will have surgery on the torn ligament in his right wrist on Monday. Zach Taylor confirming that after the game. But Jake Browning had his opportunities, but if you take one look at blame in this game, look to the offense, look to the run game. Now, I asked Zach Taylor about his confidence in Joe Mixon going forward, and he said it is not at all about Joe Mixon. It is about the failure of the run game as a unit, and that is certainly supported by the numbers. Joe Mixon had just 16 yards on 8 carries. In total, if you throw in the 3 runs by Jake Browning, they had 11 carries, 25 yards on plays not involving the passing game. That is brutal. That won't cut it in the NFL, and a big reason why the Bengals lost this game. After the game, Jamar Chase talking about that interception, he said, yeah, it was kind of a killer moment for us, but I kept encouraging Jake Browning throughout the game, encouraging him, in his words, to be the dog that he is, to be the battler that he is. Joe Burrow is out. Nobody can replace Joe Burrow, Jamar said after the game. But again, Jamar Chase said, I can't be pissed off right now. I have to move forward. I have to be a pro, and that's the way I'm going to go about it. Some really good words of leadership from Jamar Chase after really a brutal offensive game for the Bengals as a whole. Don't leave out the Bengals defense in terms of the blame pie. They allowed 421 yards in total offense to a team that was ranked 28th overall in the NFL in offense. coming into this game, and certainly the Steelers were able to grind out this game in the third and fourth quarters. Again, that 14-play, 75-yard drive that took up 8.5 minutes, really a killer in terms of flipping momentum on its ear here on Sunday afternoon. Well, playoff bid of the Cincinnati Bengals certainly took a huge hit. It's almost right at this point unrealistic to think that with a backup quarterback and the defense taking another hit here on Sunday with Logan Wilson suffering a bit of an ankle injury toward the end of the game. We don't have his status yet, but he was on the ground for some time. We don't know his availability going forward. And Cam Taylor-Britt did not play in this game. Certainly he is a factor as the top cornerback in the secondary. Cam Taylor-Britt out with the quad injury. Will he be available the next time the Bengals suit up and take the field? A week from Monday night in Jacksonville, Monday Night Football. Zach Taylor said after the game, we have a chance to change the narrative of this team going forward, and we start with that changing of the narrative on Monday Night Football against Jacksonville. Certainly that is going to be a monstrous mountain to climb, but we'll see if the Bengals are up to it. Certainly they put forth the fight here on Sunday afternoon, just not the execution. We'll have you covered on clnscincy.com. Be sure to check me out for all of the post-game analysis and video from the locker room and the press conference. That's at Trags, Trags on Twitter/X. And also check out all of my locker room reaction on my YouTube channel. And that would be youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. Inside Paycor Stadium, the final again, the Steelers 16, the Bengals 10. Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.